This is my June grocery haul. I only go grocery shopping once every 3 to 4 weeks. Sometimes I'll even stretch that out a little bit longer, but these are the items that we're going to be eating in the next couple weeks. But we are going through one of the biggest transitions of our lives of selling our house and moving 4 hours away. Also happening in the next couple weeks as we are listing our house actually tomorrow. So normally I would say I am a mostly organic family. I normally say that we are about 80% organic, 20% conventionally grown kind of things. But the most important things right now for me is that we are avoiding takeout, getting restaurant food. I want to be able to make quick and easy meals and feeding the random people that might be at my house on any given day. So I'm trying to make sure that I'm planning ahead for having helpers here in the evenings as we are finishing remodeling projects and also packing. So there's a lot of flexibility of what's happening, and it's June. So we want some summer fun things to add to our diets also. If you're just meeting me, my name is Amy Cross and this is the Cross Legacy. I show all of my grocery hauls and how I'm able to stay in a grocery budget of $135 per person. This is the same grocery budget that I have used for years, and over the last year it has just been my husband and I here at the house. So we've been able to stay in a grocery budget that is $270 per month. Now, we also, during the first 5.5 months of this, we didn't get any takeout. So all of the meals that we were making were things that we had already purchased and were in the house. And then as we're going through this transition of selling our house and moving, I want to make sure that I have things that we need for quick and easy meals. Normally, I also never tell you where I live. So I normally have said forever that I live in the Seattle area, which is true. I live in Western Washington and we are moving to Eastern Washington. But now I can tell you how close I actually live to all of these grocery stores. So I can literally see Costco out my front window. It is so close to our house, and we have Fred Meyer's, Safeway, Walmart, Target, all within like 2 stoplights of our house, and Marshall's. Like, spending used to be a big problem for our family because it was so easy just to either walk over there or jump in the car and be able to, oh, I'm just going to pop into the store and get something. Over about 10 years ago, we started trying to encourage ourselves to spread out those grocery shopping trips, even if it was an extra day or two, to break that habit of, I'm just going to go into the grocery store to get one thing, which a lot of times used to be an avocado. And then you would walk out with a whole bunch of extra items. So over the course of the last 10 years or so, we spread that out where we were only going to the grocery store once every week, then once every 2 weeks. And now we have made it a habit where we only go to the store every 3 to 4 weeks. I do have to say there's something mentally that happens in my brain when I say I only go grocery shopping once a month. I like to say that I only go grocery shopping once every 3 weeks and then I push it out to a month. Sometimes if I say it's once a month, I just get overwhelmed. I don't know what it is, but for me, mentally, to say that it's every 3 weeks and pushing it out to 4 is what is best for me. And all of our grocery money goes into its own account, and that is just made especially for groceries. So I always know exactly how much is left in my grocery budget and how much I have to spend, whether or not I go grocery shopping once a month or if I end up going again, which I haven't done in a long time. I did go to Walmart just to get this one specific thing. I did have a list and was able to get some of the other things that were on my list while I was there. But these hoagie rolls are only $1, and I love that I can put them in the freezer and pull them out to have sub sandwiches like all summer long. I only got 4 of them, so we're able to have sandwiches. Normally I keep these in the freezer so I can pull them out all summer long. I only got 4 of them, so it will get us through the month since we don't know exactly when we are moving, but I will have extra for some of these items too when we have people here helping us in the evening and I feel like I need to feed them dinner. So along with getting those hoagies, I also got some extra sliced cheese. I got some Swiss cheese for me, and then Mike, I got him some pepper jack cheese. We don't normally buy sliced cheese, so it's kind of a fun treat. And then I got a couple different packages of lunch meat. Again, I want to make sure that we are not going and getting takeout. So whatever we can do to make sure that we have food here ready to go, it's to avoid those trips, because I did go to Jersey Mike's the other day to get sandwiches for the crew. I talk about that in one of the meals videos, but holy cow, it was 2 giant subs and it ended up costing me $58. And I want to avoid those impulsive kind of things and make sure that we need to eat here at the house. I did get some hot dog buns. We are going into the holidays. We just had Memorial Day and buns are still way on sale. So I made sure that I grabbed some hot dog buns and some hot dogs or brats here that will probably go into the freezer for a little bit. And I think I have 1 package left in the freezer that has been hanging out there for a little while that I want to use up. And then I got some hamburger buns here. We do have meat in the freezer to make hamburgers, but I also want to make some teriyaki chicken sandwiches, which I got some sliced pineapple to go with that also. And just a fun thing that we don't buy very often is I got some potato salad, so we would have that handy. Again, we are staging our house and listing it tomorrow, so we have not had a day that was less than like 18 hours in the last 2 weeks. So we just need really quick and easy, convenient things to make. I ended up going to 3 grocery stores. I don't normally do that. I normally just hit 2 grocery stores when I go grocery shopping. Costco is normally my first stop. Sometimes in the summertime, I will go to a farmer's market. Again, that's like a half an hour away from where I live. And right now we just need to be as quick as possible. But I did go to Walmart this time. So I grabbed some of the things at Walmart. And then my last shopping trip was to Fred Meyer's because their lettuce is the best. So I made sure that I went ahead and stopped at Fred Meyer's. Again, all of these stores are within 3 stoplights of each other. So it's not like I was driving around town all afternoon. I literally went from one stoplight to the next, and I was in and out, and I was probably about an hour and a half to get all my grocery shopping done for the month. If you've been following these videos for a long time, you will know back in January, I was doing a pantry challenge. And one of the things that I was talking about in the pantry challenge is how I canned some baked beans that we had struggled through the whole entire time because they needed some extra cooking time. And we have finally used all of those baked beans up, and since this was kind of a I didn't care what the ingredients were kind of trip, I got Mike some of the canned baked beans and he was super excited about such a little thing. So anyways, it's just kind of funny that right now, like, I'm not caring about organic as much and just making sure that we're fed. I did pick up some sourdough bread, which will go into the freezer until we're pulling it out. During the summertime, I like to only pull out about half a loaf at a time because it molds quicker in the summertime. The same thing with any kind of the buns. I'll just pull out whatever we need for that dinner. But with that, I did get him a small jar of peanut butter because we have been out of that and I haven't wanted to buy a big quantity of peanut butter. So we got the little natural peanut butter. Again, this is just to make him very happy. He likes that on his sandwiches, but also on waffles and pancakes. So a lot of the things I was trying to buy like smaller jars of or smaller quantities, so we're not having to move things at the end of the month. But I did go ahead and get a whole case of the black beans. We eat these a lot and I want to make sure that we had them on hand, and we were completely out of black beans. I still have some garbanzo beans and other beans, but this way I was able to get the best price and get 8 cans at a time. And this is the first time in a really long time that we bought eggs from the grocery store. So since we are moving, we gave our chickens away to a family, and our new house, we are not going to have chickens, at least for the first year. So we will decide after the first year if we're going to have them again at our new house. but I bought eggs at the grocery store. I only got a 12 pack because we still have some eggs left over, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't overbuying eggs. And this is another random thing that I normally only buy in the summertime, and it's getting some whipped cream. So I like waffles that have blackberries and whipped cream on it. You never know when you want to make a strawberry shortcake, like all of those fun things. And instead of making my own whipped cream right now during the season, I wanted to make sure that I had some that was handy. And at Walmart, they actually had some beautiful looking produce, and I thought this whole bowl of lemons would be really amazing on our counter when people are walking through the house, and they were huge lemons. So I was really excited to get these, and they were only 58 cents a piece. Mike uses normally a half a lemon every single day. He might use a quarter of these. They're really big compared to the ones that I normally get, but he drinks a lemon tea every morning, and I just thought that they would be beautiful on the counter. Normally I keep lemons in my crisper drawer with avocados, and they keep each other fresh for an entire month. Some of the other random things that I got at the grocery store is I bought some Butter Crunch lettuce, which we'll talk about all the produce stuff together. But with that, I ended up getting a can of water chestnuts so we can have lettuce wraps. So that was something that I ended up finding a produce item and really wanting to make a meal based on that produce item, and then realizing that I needed a pantry item to go with that. And normally in the summertime, I get the large jars of the sun-dried tomatoes at Costco. I would have bought a large jar if they had them, but they didn't have any right now. So I'm hoping that as we get into summer, they get them. But I ended up just picking up the smaller one at Fred Meyer's. And then at Costco, I made sure that I got these ramen noodles. We use them for yakisoba in the summertime, especially when we have a large crowd over. It is something that we can easily spread out to feed multiple people, and we do this on the Blackstone. So I'll cook the ramen noodles ahead of time, and then Mike will do the vegetables and the chicken or steak, whatever we're using, on the Blackstone. And that way we can feed just us or a multitude of people. And it's kind of a fun kind of thing. And if you don't have a Blackstone griddle, you can do it on the stovetop too. The yakisoba recipe for the sauce we have on the blog, and we will link that in the description. I also wanted to make sure that we had some chips. So I got some tortilla chips that we make with nachos often, and then you can just have them with salsa or just have some chips. But I also got some barbecue chips, thinking about having those with the hoagie sandwiches. And again, we have tons of people in and out there helping us in the evenings. And just for fun, because we have a fire pit, I make sure all summer long we have s'mores supplies. So I was able to grab those. When I do open up the marshmallow bag, I will store those in a glass jar with a metal lid, and they will stay fresh for months. So I always have what we need to have an impromptu backyard bonfire. I did pick up some barbecue sauce. Oftentimes I will make my own barbecue sauce. Again, we are moving, so I made sure that I grabbed some. This will be super easy to make grilled chicken with and have that either on salads or as dinners. Now let's talk about some of the produce. I wasn't planning on getting a watermelon this time. I was going to wait until July, but this watermelon was only $3.88 and I couldn't pass it up. But normally when I'm picking out watermelon, I normally look for it to have a sunspot on it. This means it was ripened out in the field. So this is the spot that it ended up sitting in the dirt, and everything else got ripened by the sun. And then I look for it to have any webbing. These were really hard to find ones that had good webbing in it. The webbing looks just like this. This means it was pollinated by bees, and it makes it even sweeter. So those are the two things when I'm picking out watermelon. They did have ones that were much bigger than this, but we are having showings this week, and I didn't want watermelon to be everywhere in our house. And so I was trying to get kind of a smaller one. I made sure when I was at Costco that I got a bottle of the balsamic glaze. We love to use this all summer long, especially on 𝐋𝐈𝐍𝐄𝐄𝐓 skewers. So normally those are made with tomatoes, mozzarella, and basil. We also love them with peaches and nectarines. Or if we're grilling eggplants, we like the balsamic glaze on that too. Some of the produce items that I got was zucchini and yellow squash. I for sure had to get some strawberries so I could have strawberries in a jar in the refrigerator. If you notice, all of the strawberries that used to be decor in our kitchen are gone for the showings, and I want to have at least a little hint of me in this house. So I went viral almost 4 years ago for strawberries in a jar and started the trend of teaching people how to keep their produce fresh for weeks. I also made sure that I got a ton of peppers. We use these cooked in recipes, but also raw to add to sandwiches or with dips. I also got some extra lettuce, radishes, and cucumbers so we can make tons of salads over the next couple weeks. We are an allergy family, so I rarely buy salad dressing that is already pre-made, and I just make my own dressing. So if you would like to see how I'm using all these ingredients in the actual meals that I'm making, make sure that you check out our meals playlist. This goes up every 2 weeks, and so you can see what I eat earlier in this grocery shopping cycle, but also the second video comes out with what we eat like 3 to 4 weeks after we went to the grocery store. So you can see that we can keep all of these produce items fresh for weeks. With that, my grocery budget is $270 per month. We do have meat in our freezer that was purchased already, but still using that same grocery budget. So this grocery haul ended up being $211.86, which ends up leaving me with $58.14 if I decide to do another grocery shopping trip, possibly to Trader Joe's before we move, because there's not a Trader Joe's where we're moving to, or this money will just stay in my grocery account for when I want to use it again later. If you're new to my channel, make sure that you're hitting subscribe. We have hundreds of videos teaching you how to keep your produce fresh longer and save money on groceries.